I'm sorry, but I do not have the patience for that this week. Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Drama, Just Movies, and we are back this week with another TV review. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned with all the content that we produce each and every week in the world of TV and movies. My name is Cameron. Why, Muse? Why? Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I'm Phil Bloodbank Banksy Corwin.
Blood Bank Banksy.
You know what I
Ooh.
mean? It's blood.
That's a very
And it's
nice
late
one,
as
actually.
well.
I like that. I mean, if you haven't guessed it by now, but of course you would have by the title, we're here to review none other than episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. And usually we will give our initial reactions and then we will go into a deeper review. I'm sorry, but I do not have the patience for that this week because why? I mean, why? Obviously, this is a
You
spoiler
too.
review, so we're about
Yeah.
to delve into spoilers. Um, okay, some backstory, right? Which I delved into this last week when we spoke, right? I am a big crime fan. I'm a big crime drama fan. I'm a big
Are you
crime
now?
thriller fan. I love a crime doc. And when we got the reveal that we were going to have the mixture of the two, the best of both worlds, crime, murder mystery meets Daredevil, right? With Muse. I was so excited and obviously we spoke about a couple of weeks back when, Muse was revealed. And then obviously last week when we got more of a delve into him, like, where are we going to go? But what happened? What happened? I mean, it's like I would say to a child, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. I can't believe what I watched. I can't believe that we took this character that had so much potential. We took a story that had so much potential, and we, no pun intended, killed it off before it could even get out of the gate. I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked. Like, what was
You
your
killed
thoughts on
a
that?
boy. A
I know.
beautiful boy.
The pain. What
Eh,
was your thoughts on that? Because that's
Same.
clearly going to be the big talking point from here.
Absolutely same. Like when they revealed him as well, like, oh, this is this angelic little curly hair guy.
Yeah.
What was his name? Bastian Cooper.
Bastian Cooper, yeah.
I thought, wait a minute, are they like already solving this issue? Are they already
Yeah.
like demasking Muse? Like, has Daredevil done anything about it? Like, has he
Mm.
tracked him down and tried to find out who he actually is or who's behind the mask? No, we just get, oh yeah, Muse is actually this guy. There we go. I thought at first they must be joking, right? They must be like tricking
Mm.
us, and this is not actually because Muse, because that is too easy.
Mm.
And then it turned out like, oh, he is actually Muse. Okay. Um, and then he like got shot. I was like, is it? That's a rapper Muse. Okay. Does he not have healing powers? Does he not have is that
Yeah.
gimmick? Is that the trick here that he's like, oh, we thought he was shot, but he comes back to life and ooh, now it's a fight? No, he's gone.
Yeah.
That's news. Thank you. Bye.
I mean,
It was
and so go ahead. No, go on.
yeah, it was quite disappointing.
I mean, quite disappointing. It was phenomenally disappointing. Like, I think there's just so many ways that you could have did this better. And I'm not proclaiming to be like, a Emmy award-winning writer by any stretch of the imagination. And obviously, it's always easier to talk about this in hindsight.
Hmm.
But it's like, like, for example, with Bastian, obviously we see him in episode 2 where he approaches, Heather, and that's our first introduction to him, and we didn't pick back up with him obviously since episode 2.
Right.
But it would have been interesting maybe if she had had different clients and like it was a bit more in the background, like she had been continuously seeing Bastian, but it wasn't very clear. And we were imagine, for example, if she was continuing seeing Bastian throughout all these episodes, but we wasn't clear, or we wouldn't didn't believe that he was Muse, and then
Yeah.
eventually that led up to the reveal. That would have been much more interesting. Also, the fact that once we find out that it is Bastian, once the mask is off, I'm not the performer. I don't know the actor's name, but he did a good job. But
Hunter Doohan, I think. Hunter, if
okay,
that's how you pronounce it.
but Hunter did a good job. But it's like once the mask comes off, I feel like Muse lost all of his mystique.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm not saying, but I don't think it should be that way. I felt like once we started to rush and we started to quickly get to the crescendo, the character lost a lot of what it potentially could have had. Like if you wanted to, I don't know if this was the original decision to kind of just quickly be done with Muse very quickly. But like you could have drawn this out. And when I say drawn this out, I mean in a good way. Like if you didn't maybe want to explore him fully in this season, you could have set the tone, or at least plant the seeds so that we build up the mystery to the next season. But I was just so disappointed. And also as well, the way that he does get killed. I mean, I like that Fisk obviously uses his vigilante task force, to his benefit, and obviously uses them as being the ones who actually did this to kind of further his agenda. Even with Fisk, though, as these episodes are starting to go by, like I feel like even with Fisk, this idea of him being the mayor and how promising and interesting this felt before this season started, I don't think it's really living up to it.
still on board with that. I really like his kind of still like the whole idea that he's kind of nice, but also not, but like trying to do the right thing. And you can tell that he really cares about this city and trying to like improve the city. And like the monologue I love that he gives about what Daredevil did to his people.
Yeah.
In which like Daredevil really doesn't come across as the hero. And so I like this kind of role for Fisk, this leader of a whole city who's responsible for what's going on there, who has to now, as mayor, deal with the vigilantes, including Daredevil,
Mm.
right? So I love this idea, like when he finds out that Daredevil is actually back on the street, what that means. That was a cool moment for me because it's like
Yeah.
foreshadows this whole idea of, I say idea a lot, bloody hell. It foreshadows this thing of them actually busting heads, bumping heads. Um, and so and that doesn't quite hold the same tension as if Fisk was just a random guy on the street, but now that he's
Mm.
mayor, he actually has the power to do something and the power to actually like somehow hurt Matt or Daredevil if he wants. Because he
Yeah.
can
And I mean,
task forces and police after him if he wants to. So
yeah. And I mean, on that note, that does make me question where we now go. Obviously with Muse being dead, I can't believe I'm still saying that.
I'm still
Um,
like waiting for him to come back to life or like there to be another
yeah,
mutant and then we find
that's
out,
what I'm
oh, that's a
thinking.
copycat or what. But he had the suits, he had the whole
Yeah.
no. So I really doubt they're going that.
And he was the Taekwondo prodigy,
That's why he
trained
fought so good.
trained with his, sensei for 3 months and then killed him. I mean, I can't believe it. Like, I just can't. I think it just felt so rushed, and it's what a shame. Just what a shame. What you could have did with that character and that story. It does make me then question, like, well, what is next? We've got 2 episodes left, and I assume that this is definitely giving me the vibes of this is. I think I've come to the conclusion now after seeing this episode. And by the way, I do want to reiterate that I still enjoyed the episode. I
Yeah,
still do
me too.
enjoy this show. I enjoy these characters. I really look forward to it. But it does have its flaws, and it has had its flaws. This episode being one of them. Even though the episode still was entertaining, they just made a disappointing decision. But it does make me go now. I don't know if you remember when we were watching the Dune prequel show. I can't remember what it was even called now,
Oh,
but
Sisterhood of Dune? No, yes.
that
No,
was the book, I think.
that was
but
the book.
but Yeah, like
Doom Prophecy. Bloody hell.
that's it, Dune
Yes.
Prophecy. But I remember when we reviewed that, there we go, and we got to the end, we were getting to the end.
Hmm.
We started to talk about how clearly this was a show where it was not, we were not going to have any conclusive wrap ups come the end of the season. This was a season or show where clearly, don't get your hopes up. As we were getting towards the end, it was clear, okay, there's too much going on here and so much going on here that we know that we're going to be looking towards the second season to get some conclusive answers. And weirdly enough, I kind of feel the same with Daredevil in a sense where, but almost the opposite, where there are a couple things going on, but I can't. We already know they're filming season, well, what is technically season 5, but season 2 in the Disney scheme of things. I think it's clear that this is a show that I can't see this wrapping up conclusively, or with any kind of way that maybe really feels, I don't know, right within the next 2 episodes.
Hmm.
I think this is a show that you're going to be thinking, okay, season 2 will get more answers. Because the only thing I can think of right now, and I want to get your opinion on this in terms of where we go now,
Hmm.
is that I'd imagine that the next 2 episodes perhaps is going to be Daredevil and maybe Frank, or if not just Daredevil, going up against the task force or whoever Fisk
Oh.
has against him. Because I can't really think of, and also probably a confrontation between Matt and Fisk, but
Yeah.
I can't really
No.
think as to. I think that he'll probably set the task force on him.
Hmm.
That's my assumption. I also do wonder if this season may end, or if one of the next 2 episodes will end with Fisk potentially outing who Daredevil is to the public. That's still a trump card I think that he still has that he can play, one from the comics as well. But what do you think?
He must go up against Fisk at some point, right? Because they're the big rivals, and now that Muse is dead, there's nobody else. Like Bullseye, I think, I guess, still in prison unless he like breaks out in the next episode, and then because here's another thing, like we're starting off the whole season with Foggy's death, and there's no like, okay, he's in prison, but there's no closure, no revenge for Matt, for Daredevil, right?
Mm.
His mate's still dead, and this guy is just in prison. Like there's no, eye for an eye. So I wonder if at any point, I, not wonder, okay, let's put it like the right way. I want to see that. I want to see
Yeah.
Matt or Daredevil going up against Bullseye again and actually making him pay for killing Foggy. I think
Mm.
we need to see that, and otherwise it feels right now very, very unfinished. Um, so I don't think in this season, unless they do that, I don't know. They seem to be speeding through stuff right now. Um, but in season 2, maybe. But yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a Fisk thing, Daredevil and Fisk confrontation.
Yeah, because how does that even look like? Like Fisk is mayor,
Hmm.
and with the bullseye thing, like in that first episode, Matt does literally chuck this guy off a roof. He
Yeah.
literally leaves him for dead. You can argue that he did exact his revenge because he left him for dead and he got life. Also, interesting tidbit. I literally saw right before we started recording that I think it was either the showrunner or writer said that initially yeah, that this season did look very different, but that his idea was that he was going to pick back up the Bullseye storyline in season 5. So I don't know how that looks here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're seeing the set photos of Matt in the black suit. I don't know if that is an indicator of where the character may end up towards the end of this, or it might not mean anything, but maybe. Also, last thing, I don't know if it's true or not, but I did see a panel that was being discussed on X the other day, where it was showing about specific panel from a Daredevil comic where Foggy does fake his own death, and so uh,
think
you
so.
bringing up the point of the whole Foggy thing. I wonder if that was the
Unless
case.
he's in like cahoots with Bullseye. I don't think you fake that. That looks pretty real.
I think so, unless they throw us a curveball. But
Unless they go, oh, Foggy had a twin, and this is the real Foggy. He just sent his twin. Yeah. I don't think.
yeah,
I think Foggy is actually dead.
yeah, I think so. Do you
Yeah.
think we see Frank over the last two episodes?
In the next two episodes, we have to, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like one episode for Johnny. It's Johnny, pal Johnny. For John Bernthal is not enough. Like it would
Mm,
be wasted. It would be so wasted to have him
yeah.
show up in one little episode, and then save him for season two.
Yeah. Because now I'm starting to think that he's just going to appear in the finale. I guess
Yeah.
that's the impression I'm getting. And so, yeah, I mean, any other final thoughts on this episode before we go to our
Uh,
review score?
oh yeah, with did you care about the not lawyer, the therapist that he had her as a victim? Similar
No,
to last week, the niece.
I think she's one of the characters that isn't hitting very well for me at the moment. I think that that didn't work either. I think you needed someone else there. That's just me. What about you?
I kind of felt it more, especially after they like built it up a bit more, like their relationship, and like you see them together a bit more in this episode. Uh, so yes, but they sped through it. I think they very
Mhm.
much, very quickly, and went through it. I like that Matt kind of figured it out. That was a good moment when he goes through the pictures and he's like feeling her, and then we get that shot back, and how he felt her face before.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't quite believe that, by the way.
oh,
I really respect Matt's powers, but that one was a bit tough for me. I felt like, but
I guess they have to. I guess they have to find
yeah.
some kind of way to make him see a painting, right? Otherwise, like, well,
I mean, why didn't they just have? It would have, to me, made so much more sense that Bastian had her book there, and that Matt found the book, and that was able to then read the title and
that
also
would
the
just be
face
a
on the
book.
book.
That
But
would
the
just
thing
be a
is
book.
that it's still he would have been able to recognize that her name's on the book, her face is on the book. I felt like he would have been a bit more recognizable, but maybe
Yeah,
I'm
but it wouldn't mean as much as going, oh, I'm touching a couple of paintings, don't know what that is. And then he touches one and realizes, oh, that's my girlfriend. Maybe all the other ones were my girlfriend as well. Fuck. Maybe he's a little bit obsessed with her. Fuck. Maybe he's going after her. I think that kind of link, that chain that he went through is was interesting. And I
yeah.
yeah, it got me, but it just happened too fucking quickly,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really get into it.
Yeah. I mean, is it icy review time?
I think it's icy review time.
Wait. So, okay, let's give our icy review scores out of 10 for episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again. You first.
Uh, Funnily enough, I'm gonna go with the episode number. I'm gonna go with 7 out of 10 ices. Um, because there was a really cool, fun, uh, tense episode in there with the whole Muse and fight and blah, and uh the reveal of who he is, and the kidnapping the girlfriend, Matt going after him, and like the task force going after Matt and blah. But it was all like very, and this was actually the shortest, I think, episode of like 42 something minutes, which is weird because they should have made this the longest.
Yeah.
Might have been really good. But so yeah, 7 out of 10 ices from me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with 7 ICs out of 10 also. I was
Ooh.
tempted to give 7.5, but once again, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I'm just disappointed. That's all it is. That's all it is. So I'm going for 7 ICs out of 10 as well. And well, I guess that will do it for our review of episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again. Once again, we are No Drama, Just Movies. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, share, drop down that comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on this episode and your predictions for the remainder of this season. My name is Cameron. Why Muse? Why Kelly Smith? And I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I was Phil Bloodbank Banksy Corwin.
Oh, that's right. Once again, we are No Drama, Just Movies. Thank you very much for checking out our review today, guys. And remember, therapists need security. Thank you very much for checking out our review today, guys. And we will see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Wise words. Very wise.